Yes, I think it's trying to notify others that we have started.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's fine.
The weather today is very, very good.
That's an amazing spring.
Since yesterday.
I couldn't take a walk today. Like I just took like 10 minutes. I was really pained. In the morning I had to pack my hallway first.
Wow,
Mm.
wow. And that's gonna be the trend for the next few more days, maybe 2 days, maybe 3 days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Welcome, welcome to spring, welcome to winter.
Spring, winter. Yeah.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. It's the afternoon side of Calgary. My name is Akin Kumi. It's a pleasure getting to connect with someone very, very dear to us. He's been amazing, an amazing fellow. Doctor, we are also connecting with people on Instagram.
Oh, that's
I'm
fine.
not able to project you on Instagram.
Oh,
So I hope they can be able to hear your voice.
oh,
I
wow.
hope
Okay.
so. And then that way we're able to we can also we would end up sharing this also on our platform on our Instagram pages. Yeah, this afternoon I have Dr. Olumuyiwa Igbalajobi, the founder, Scholarship Cafe. He has a lot of extensive background in the education world. He's always on Twitter. He's one of our advocates. He's one
Uh,
of the guys that is doing excellently well on trying to promote what education should be and look like standards. It's been around for some decades. And so I'm going to leave Dr. Olumuyiwa Igbalajobi to introduce himself to us, and
okay.
we can take it off from there. For everyone, please let your friends know we are live. We have started.
Well, thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much for having me, Doc. My name is Igbalajobi, and I'm the founder of Scholarships Cafe. Scholarship Cafe is a platform that empowers students not only to find scholarship but also to apply for scholarship. We empower over 500,000 network users from over 200 countries to be able to get opportunities at their very doorstep without having to pay to use the platform. So it's an honor to be here to talk about, everything about scholarships, everything about study opportunity in Canada across the globe. And I just want to appreciate my brother from A3 Immigration for the support. He's been giving us at Scholarships Cafe, supporting us in every way. Our passport intervention, A3 Immigration has been a very huge supporter, and it's an honor to be here for the first time. And I hope we can do this more.
Thank you so much, Dr. Olumuyiwa. Uh, it's amazing how we met. I don't want to go into that. I don't want to go into that. But we are both in Calgary.
Yeah, yeah.
But
You
we are not in the
actually
same
you,
studio
you
right now.
pulled me from Vancouver to Calgary.
That was gonna be my first question. So,
Yeah.
how has it been comparing Vancouver, BC to Calgary, Alberta?
Yeah,
What would you say?
it's been pretty amazing. I almost tweeted this morning to say no matter how the snow could be 25 centimeter, 30 centimeter, I feel like Calgary is more home. I have all the space I want in the world. And, the pressure in Vancouver is a whole lot. The city is also smaller. But in Calgary,
Mm.
you can have your 5 lane and, just run as you want. Yeah. So it's a big city, which I kind of like. And I like the weather as well. Like, especially when it snows, I don't go out. I work from home. I just connect with my people on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok and Facebook and YouTube. And, the
Just
job is
connect.
done for the day. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So, I might be asking a couple of more personal questions. I know you've had to leave the ancient city of Ekiti to move to other parts of the world. I knew you were in Korea, you were
Right.
in Germany, and then here you are in Canada. You want to tell us a bit about what it has been in terms of culture, in terms of I'm sure cultural shock. Yes, when you first had to move from Ekiti to Korea, what is it like?
Yeah, for me it was a bigger shock. Like, the language barrier was there, though the Korean government provided me with a 1 year of language program, which I always encourage people that wants to apply for scholarships that don't look at the limitations or the challenges. If you
Mm,
look at the challenges of the language, it could, prevent you from accessing opportunities. So from Ekiti to Korea was dramatic because I had to leave home with $100. I didn't tell my parents that I was leaving Nigeria, so I had to take my destiny into my hands, and I flew for 22 hours. So until I got to Korea and they knew I'd left, and we kind of had to reconcile. So, so it's one huge journey that's been more of determination, God in also like in the whole process, and I just have this dream then like I can achieve bigger than I have ever thought. My dream was scary. I knew I wanted international education. I
mm.
had the American dream, but it all started from Korea and from Korea to Germany and from Germany to Canada. And then if you ask me if the American dream has been fulfilled, I would say yes.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I remember the first time we were having a chat on that. He said you just had to leave, and then it was afterwards you had to tell your parents.
Right.
I was in my mind. I'm like, will I be able to do this? Well, maybe not. I don't know. I really can't say.
It wasn't
Except
it
maybe
wasn't easy. It was just the last
I
choice that
know, I
and
know,
if
I
I
know.
hadn't taken that step, I'm
You
sure
won't be here today.
there's no way we
Most
would
likely.
even connect. Yeah.
Most likely, most likely. Thank you so much. So there has been a lot of myths. I read a lot of stuff online, looking at the background experience that you have, looking at what has been obtainable, informations available everywhere. A lot of people come up and say, "Oh, with a second class lower, you're not able to get scholarship, or with this, with that." There has been a lot of myths, a lot of misinformation out there. What's your take on it? Who can get a scholarship? Let's get into it. Who
Okay.
can get a scholarship?
Thank you so much. Yeah, so basically, I'll start by saying, getting a scholarship, it's something of a self-will thing. I just had a webinar today and I had about 125 people that attended, and it was strictly for people with tutu, which is very key to this conversation. So there are myths about if you have a tutu, you can't get a scholarship. If you are too old, you can't get a scholarship. There are no fully funded scholarship ever existed. Scholarship is only meant for people with first class. I would say it's total falsehood. Like in terms of, yeah, for like people that would say scholarships are for aliens, exceptional people with
Mm,
robust attributes. If I should fall into that category, I would not be here today, like in terms of I wasn't even exceptional. I'll put it in that way. Like I would say people with first class with 4.5, 4.7, they are pretty exceptional. I finished with 3.95, and this got me a scholarship to go to Korea. I got a scholarship in China, and eventually for my PhD, I got 5 additional scholarship as well. So for people with 2.2, in fact, last week, and this is one of the slides I shared in the webinar today. Last week, one of my followers said he asked from me here I go on Twitter that can he get a scholarship with a tutor? And I said yes. And he's coming back to tell me that he has used my CV format and resources to say he got a fully funded PhD offer in the US with a tutor.
wow.
And he didn't even have to write GRE. He didn't write IELTS. He actually wrote no tests, but he worked on his writing skills and secured a supervisor. So basically, you can get scholarship as long as you can identify the elements you can identify. One of the things I mentioned today is the fact that if you have a tutor and you're looking for scholarship, you need to first admit that you have a limitation, because compared to people with first class and two, and maybe they're more competitive. But even at the time you admit you have a limitation, you need to work on that limitation to say, I would ensure this inspires me to achieve greatness. So, and then you need to, identify the area of weakness that you want to work on. Is it your CGPA? Is it that you
Mm,
lack application. You said that you want to take GRE. So getting a scholarship is a function of an individual. There are other platforms that post scholarships like Scholarships Cafe, and they tell you to pay certain amounts to get you scholarship. When you come to us to say you want scholarships, we'll tell you. Even though we offer consulting services, we will equip you with tools and resources to be yourself, to do it yourself. So we are not platforms that promise you that we're going to get you scholarship because we know nobody can guarantee scholarships. So if we post scholarships on our platform and over 20,000 clicks, had the opportunity, maybe about 10,000 of them apply for the opportunity and just three slots are available to be picked. So
Mm,
who influences that? It is the institution. It is the admission committee. So, but we're saying that you can get scholarship as long as you have the self will, you are intentional, you follow the basic strategies that we teach at Scholarships Cafe. We have amazing community on YouTube, we have it on Twitter. There are so many resources out there. So, it is left for you now to decide like if you need a kind of an accountability partner, then you can reach out to us, but you can do all those things yourself as well.
awesome. Thank you so much, Doctor. I was about asking, I've over time we've had a lot of persons reaching out to us. Oh, we are looking to get scholarships. Oh, we are looking to get fully funded programs and the likes. Is it available in Canada? That's going to form part of my next question. Is this scholarship thing available in Canada? Are there schools? And I add in the course of what you said in this last couple of statements that someone reached out to you who used a template of your resume and then was able to get a scholarship at the University of Toronto. So
No, that's in the US.
in the US. Oh,
In the
okay,
US.
okay, okay, awesome. So are scholarships available in Canada, or is just or does everyone have to go to Korea?
Yeah, there are scholarships is available everywhere. Kazakhstan, one of my followers got a scholarship in Kazakhstan. In
Oh,
fact, they had 550 scholarships, 400 and 400 and I think 99, no 449 for fully funded undergrad. They pay for your flight, tuition, stipends, then the rest are for like postgraduate students. When it comes to Canada, I'm at the front line of saying Canadian government should fund education more. Over the last 2 decades, there hasn't been increase in the salary or stipends of grad students. So I would say there are limited scholarships in Canada. There isn't scholarships like when you see some platform posting Canadian government scholarships, like where do you get those things from? Because there's nothing like that exists in Canada. But you can get opportunities by reaching out to professors in Canada, especially people in the field of science, STEM, like technology, engineering, and maths. For other fields, you can still get in kinesiology or maybe something that has to do with indigenous law.
hmm.
But when it comes to comparison of Canada and the US, you will get 120,000 scholarship for the Columbia School of Journalism in the US. That is for masters, your tuition is covered. But in Canada, you will get $22,000 scholarship in masters that you have to pay your tuition out of it. So which means that even if you get the scholarship, you still need to proof
Have
of
to
fund
pay.
this.
You still need to demonstrate.
So,
Hmm.
so there are opportunities in Canada, but it's quite limited. So it now depends on yourself to decide: do you want to go to the US? Do you want to go to Korea? Do you want to go to Germany? Do you want to come to Canada? So I won't rule out the fact that there are scholarships like entrance scholarship that could be $20,000 for 1 year, but we all understand that the living expenses in Canada is on the higher side. That you need to be realistic.
Hmm. Hmm. Thank you so much, Dr. Muiwa. I remember that you referred someone to us who had a fully funded scholarship from SFU,
Exactly, and they
yeah,
still
Simon
rejected
Fraser
her.
University. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
And she, when it comes to Canada, I can speak on the immigration part of it because that's that's a, you still need to demonstrate, especially if it is not coming with uh, accommodation,
Mhm.
feeding, and the likes. Which, from what you have said, I've been able to gather that these are available in other parts of the world,
Yes.
including your living expenses and everything. Awesome. I know that there are a couple of bodies when it comes to scholarship. The Canadian government is not rolling out funds to individuals,
Right.
but if you're able to get to speak with professors, graduate program coordinators, and the like. So that brings me back to my next question. It simply does it mean that you need to speak to a professor before you're able to get a scholarship? Do you need to know anyone? Do you need to write
Yeah,
to
it's
supervisors? Is it
right.
key?
So it's in two ways. In Canada, we have the Mastercard Foundation Scholarship at UBC, at McGill, really competitive. The Mastercard Foundation provide opportunity for you to come study masters in those top universities. You know how much the tuition in UBC and McGill is, and then they provide you with tuition, stipends, clothing allowance, laptop, mobile phone allowance, visa fee covered, flight is covered, and then other countries like UK, Kenya, Beirut, and they also fund institutions there. So the other part of it, this is more like non-for-profit government scholarship. Like you have government scholarship like Chinese, Korea, Japan, and Kazakhstan, DAD, Erasmus. But when it comes to the other part of applying for scholarships, I'm putting it in the general context, especially for people that maybe they don't even like Canada.
Mm.
So the general contest, if you want to work with a professor, especially even there are institutions in Canada before you apply, they tell you you need a professor acceptance. And the reason they said this is because they know if you're coming for masters and PhD, you cannot work and study. As a scientist, you
Yes.
have to work in the lab, you have to work on your portfolio, you're in engineering, you're in math, you're in physics, you're in chemistry.
My health,
Most of the
nursing,
time, you might have to
chemistry.
sleep in the lab.
Mm.
So even if you tell the government that you have your funds to come study, they'll tell you no, we decline. You need a professor that guarantees not only funding, it's going to mentor you, it's going to be your thesis advisor. So that is why it is very key. Even for my followers in the field of non-STEM, in the field of English or something, I usually encourage them. Seek
Mm.
for a professor acceptance first, because those people will be more like your advocate when you're not there, especially when decision is being
Almost
made
a
for
decision
admin.
making. Mm.
And if you're talking to a professor, I had one of my followers that started talking to a professor on Twitter, and the person just announced to be a professor, and they started conversation. And after she got funding, she invited the lady to come to Canada.
Wow.
So it's important that you understand how the scholarship terrain works. Either you
Mm.
get scholarship on the part of non-for-profit government that you don't need to secure a supervisor,
Yeah.
or you need, if you're coming to the US and Canada, I haven't heard about the US government scholarship. No. So if you're coming to the US or Canada, specifically, there are professors that the government has given them funds. They've applied for research funding. They have their projects already approved. They need students to help them carry out those research. And that is where your role comes in to identify those professors, send them an email, read their profile, read their publication, identify the gaps, and tell them you want to talk to them.
Wow. It appears that's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, and that is why I would say that whenever people come to us, maybe some people watching today might want to reach out to Dr. Lumiwa. How much are you collecting to package everything for us?
We don't
We
pack it.
cannot do it. Apart from the fact that it's an academic fraud thing. I work in one of the top universities in the world, one of the top 50 universities in the world. I teach my students, even when you're using ChatGPT, you need to tell me when you use it. Don't even use it for your main paper. So the fact that it's cumbersome, I'm not going to take over your account and start writing 100 professors. I'm not going to be regular flying professors, even if you're going to pay me $1 million. I don't have that time, apart from the fact that it's against what I stand for. So, and the beauty of people we work with, people we mentor, is the fact that we help you to solidify your research base so that when you get to grad school, you don't run away.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Lumuiwa. Getting scholarship is a lot of work. And like you have said at the beginning of this conversation, it requires a lot of self will. You have to be able to burn the candles, or if there are no candles anymore, you need to be able to ready to turn on your lamps and
I'm
stay
telling you.
dedicated to it. Awesome. Thank you so much. So that's gonna lead me to my next question. I've seen a lot of individuals who say, "Oh, we paid an individual to help us write, do this, do that," and I've also seen individuals who have always used one resume to apply for more than 10, 20. So on the average, like how many professors do you think an individual would write before standing a chance to get a scholarship
So
on the average?
it's kind of subjective and relative. When I was applying for PhD, I wrote more than 200 professors. I was able to get 4 offers, but these days I've become wiser, and I usually tell my audience there are steps I took that I don't want you to take again. I want you to be
Mm,
better. So I always advise that quality is better than quantity.
quantity. Mm,
So you need to focus on having a compelling CV first. I've had free consultations and people tell me, "Oh, doc, I've been applying for scholarships in the last few years. I didn't get it." And I was like, "Send me your CV. Send me the code email." And I realized the CV doesn't even have any research experience. So
mm.
you can't be saying you get a rejection, we go again, when you don't even have the basic research knowledge. So if you don't have a basic research knowledge to go for a research master's or PhD, it's like you applying for a university education without a WAEC or NECO or GCE. So it's important to take a step back, even when you get rejection, get a feedback from the committee where you can improve.
Why were
So
you rejected?
yeah,
Mm,
so I would say, let's say in a month or in couple of 2 months, target about 10 or 20 professors. Ensure that, because by the time you read their publication, 1 or 2 publications, you will even be tired. You can't, because you need to understand what they are doing. You need to identify the gaps. You need to focus on, getting research questions out of, okay, this person recently published a paper and there are unclear questions that there is a call to action at the end of the paper. And then you
mm.
need to read that and curate your cold email and send an email to them. And that is not easy to come by. So I would say focus on quality over quantity. And, I always encourage my followers as well. When you see me posting on Twitter, congratulating a professor, this day I say, congratulations, Eshamoni code email. so when
You
I
must be ready to write code emails.
so when I retweet some professors, I'm not just saying congratulations. I'm telling my followers, see, this one just become a professor. They have funding. You can reach out to them.
Wow. So it's all strategy.
It's all about strategy. So it's not a game of numbers. It's a game of being strategic, like being intentional about how to go about it.
Mm, awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Lumuyiwa. That's gonna also bring in some of this question. We had received a few couple of questions before we got on this from some of our followers, and right on Twitter, right on YouTube, we have over 200 persons live who are listening to us now, and some questions are tending towards now code emails. Code emails. How do we write code emails? What is code emails? Someone is
Okay.
asking what is even a code email.
Okay, basically, cold email is more like, from the previous webinar I had today, someone was asking me the difference between cold email and cover letter, which a lot of people find it funny. But as a teacher, I always tell my students there is no question to be too ambiguous. The only question I won't be able to answer is the one you don't ask me. So,
Mm,
cold email is more like an unsolicited email. It's not only applicable in academia. I've seen people that wrote cold email and sent it to industry and they got jobs. So, cold email is you sitting down to say, okay, this person did not advertise. This professor is not even looking for student. But I'm going to write the professor to say, I'm looking for a position. Are you open to opportunities? It might
mm,
be a situation where the professor is still applying for funding. And some of the time it takes like 6 to 1 year for you to establish connection with a professor and you getting funding. So it's like you writing an email, starting with a salutation, addressing them properly. And then you talk about your background. A lot of people will say, I mean, I was correcting someone recently and saying, oh, I'm a student of Professor Mrs. So, so, so. And so I was like, that's a sexist. So if you are going to write a professor in Canada, in the US, in Germany, or in Korea, you have to write dear professor, even if she's a female. You don't have to put dear Professor Mrs. Because
mm.
there's never a way that you're going to write a dear Professor Mister. So, starting, so, so starting from the salutation for the code email is important. Dear professor, in full with the last name, then introduce yourself. I'm writing to apply for a graduate assistant position in your lab or your group at the university of this. My background is in this. I just finished my undergraduate or master's. My
mm,
thesis this. The contribution to knowledge is this, which has been published in this paper. I recently came across your recent article titled this and this, and I found the article very interesting, especially the methodology you used in this. And
yeah,
I love to ask certain research questions. I have excellent communication skill, writing skill, and I look forward to discussing with you. It is different from someone that had to go and use ChatGPT
absolutely.
because I received an email yesterday for an influencing role, and the person actually used ChatGPT to write me. And the ChatGPT was asking, insert the name of the person, insert the role.
Start the location.
And so, okay, so you, so your cold email has to be like at least 400 words. You have to cover the parts to say that. Why? I know we both are in academia. We know how stressful academia is. So the analogy I usually give my audience is that I'm a professor. I'm tired. I'm going home. I was in a bus. Your email came in. I put it out. Even the CV you sent to me is in Word document. Everything is scattered. And then the code email itself is you've even I've seen cases where people address professors wrongly.
Mm.
I have received code emails from someone in the field of political science that wants to work with me in the field of microbiology. so,
He wants to come and give you the rules and regulations.
exactly. So your cold email has to be around the central idea. The question is, I understand everybody wants to japa or the idea of japa and everything, which we might have to talk about later. But I usually encourage the people I work with, see yourself as an asset. As much as that school or that scholarship wants to give scholarship out, they also need you. Any professor out there that just got funding, $1 billion funding, $1 million funding, that professor will not go to the lab or go to the field to do research. You are the one
To
that will.
make good use of it, and he needs you to be able to do it.
They need you. And that is why, even when you land an interview, someone just wrote to me before I started this conversation to say, Dr. Mio, I just got an assistantship interview. How do I nail the interview? And I was hoping to get a link for the free consultation. They need you. And that is why you also need to understand that you need to put your best foot forward. Nobody's going to give you funding. Quote me
Mm.
wherever you can. Nobody's going to give you funding based on the circumstance you're going through in your own country that you cannot afford to eat, you cannot afford to feed. Nobody's going to give you funding over there. Nobody's going to give you funding on emotional terms, except there are crises in your own country, which is like war or any other thing, or hurricane. Nobody's going to give you such funding. So you need to present yourself your best bet. There are destitute in Canada, the same way there are destitute in other countries. So if you're
Mm.
saying you cannot afford to wear clothes, you cannot afford to wear shoes, you cannot afford to drink water, it happens here as well.
It's everywhere.
So your
Mm.
code email has to be tailored towards the professor's area of interest. You need to read that first, identify the gaps, and you can show that when you are writing them, which kind of exhibits the fact that you've been able to understand what they're doing and you have what it takes to work with them.
Thank you so much, Dr. Lumiwa. Please, I'm going to just take about 2 minutes. I need to get water.
Okay, no problem.
It's hot in here. Even though
Okay.
it's minus something outside.
Oh my goodness. No problem. Take water here.
Just a minute. I'll be back shortly.
All right.
Uh, Thank you so much, Doctor.
No, not at all. You're welcome.
So now, that's going to take us to what has brought us today. When it comes to scholarship cafe, when it comes to people getting scholarship assistance, I know it's what you do. I want you to elaborate a bit on it, and also, while an individual is looking at coming into Canada, in your case, you have just told us how you have gone around the world, 22 hours away from Nigeria to South Korea, and then back to Germany. How did you connect?
Okay, from the first question, we offer different consultation packages at Scholarships Cafe. From For the 5 minutes that we assess your profile, we provide insights to, if you have gaps, if you have limitations, and we recently signed an agreement with a research institute in Nigeria that allows us to send five of our students to them every quarter for 6 week training for free. So
Mm,
basically, for us, we're building capacity. Like I mentioned earlier, we have about 1 million network users using our platform. We have over 50,000 that created an account on our platform. And every day we post scholarships. So we are a depository of scholarship. We'll try as much as possible to get those scholarships on our page within 24 hours. It has been posted. Kudos to my amazing teams in Nigeria and in Canada. And then we're saying that we don't want to leave you, you know,
hanging.
hanging for when you see those scholarships. If you have questions on how to apply for those scholarships, we know how to write academic CV. We know how to review your academic CV. We don't write academic CV for people. We don't write statement of purpose for people. We would ask you to send us a draft. We'll help you modify, provide an holistic, review for you. And so we also offer masterclass. In fact, we're starting one in April, and the masterclass, I think it's the most affordable you can ever see in the world. I know people that charge up to $3,000 for what we offer at a very yeah, of course. I can send you the links. I don't want to mention names. It's what we offer. It's what we offer at a very
Aware.
at an affordable rate, and we onboard you to a Telegram group that personally I will be looking after you for the next 6 months. You get scholarship. But the disclaimer is, if you're not ready to do it yourself, please don't approach us for such services, because we don't want to get you disappointed. We're building a community of intellectuals that when they get scholarships, they can sit down, take a deep breath, and say, okay, we did it ourselves. And then they can pass on the knowledge to other person. If you come to us to help you do everything, we won't even we'll reply you, we'll tell you we don't do that, because it shows that you are not ready to do the job. So we are committed to supporting people that want accountability platform, people that wants to do it themselves, people that need extra support, extra push. And if you check our consultation packages from CV to SOP to masterclass to our advanced mastery, which is about 6 month plan, we can work with you for 6 months. You have access to 6 hours training from me, about 150 slides on how to get scholarships. Like, by the time you're done, you will be ready to go ahead. We even give you like application document sample, CV sample, letter of recommendation sample. So we'll train you for like 4 days, and then we'll onboard you to Telegram. And every month you have access for a follow-up meeting with me to understand where your journey is. For that amount we give out, it's a whole lot cheaper. And so you can check out our consultation packages. Send email to info@scholarshipscafe.com. You can check us on Instagram as well. We're on Twitter, we are on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook.
You are everywhere.
We are everywhere. Like, there's no excuse that anybody will say, okay, I can't get scholarship. No, because I'll tell you, have you been to Scholarship Cafe today? So, the other part of moving from Nigeria to Korea to Germany, I think my concept about moving then was the fact that I wasn't limiting myself, and that is what I see these days about new potential grad students. They want to go to the US, they want to come to Canada. I remember I applied to Japan, I applied to China, I applied to New Zealand, I applied to Turkey, I applied to King Abdullah University in Saudi Arabia. You can ask me the question why, because all I had in my head then was get the skill set from those countries, take their free money, develop my skill and expertise, then move to the next place, which is possibly North America. So when I was leaving Korea, I got three offers in China, one in Korea, one in Germany. I would have stayed in Korea if my German boss had told me he's going to be in German. But I moved to Germany because I wanted to experience the European educational system as well. I'm glad I did that. And that's when I talk about conversations around studying in Canada, the US or versus Germany, people don't really understand the idea behind Germany. Like they are, I mean, recently they just had the release of like the strongest passport in the world. They're in the top three. They're even beyond the US or Canada. So like the educational system is robust. I had my PhD 3 years and 2 months without paying a dime. They were even paying me. They paid me pension. If you come to the US, you do a 5 years PhD that you're not even sure you'll complete. And then the PhD experience I had in Germany, I used it when I came here as my work experience to apply for the PR.
Hmm.
So there are so many benefits if you have a spouse, and as a PhD student, once your spouse joins you, your salary is increased because they realize your spouse is not working.
Now is more responsibility.
Right. And then when your wife start working, you can decide which tax class you want to choose, who pays more taxes. And
Hmm.
then by the time I was in Germany, I was traveling to Karlsruhe like almost 3 hours every day to and fro. After every year I file for my tax return, I get most of the money I paid for train, because in the tax return there is a limit that you can travel. Anything that anything that exceed that, the government has to pay you back.
There you are. For sitting on the
So
train for so long.
exactly, so it's a system that if you do not really mind learning a new language, I have friends that they will tell you they're not going to leave Germany at all,
Hmm.
because it is when I came to Canada, I'm sorry to say this, it is when I came to Canada that I started seeing food banks. I didn't come across that. You go to Lidl in Germany, you go to like most of the malls, you come out with big bags. It's something when you come out with big bags from Save on Food, is not, sorry, I'm mentioning this here. Like you are not saving anything.
I know. You go in with $500, $500, and then you're coming back with two small bags.
I'm telling you, like, so life was really good. And the reason why I moved to Canada is the fact that I wasn't open to learning a new language. I've always wanted the American dream. So for me, the flexibility was the center point of my story. I was ready to jump on the next flight to any country I want to go. I was single as well. So
Awesome. So from this, we can learn that even though Canada or America or anywhere in North America is your dream, it's always best to start somewhere.
right.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Lumuyiwa. And one of the major challenges that we also, I am aware that you recently signed a deal with some of the platforms, payment platforms that allow students to pay tuition for those who are looking to pay tuition, who are looking to do um, get loans. Now we've spoken about the part of the scholarship. Are loans readily available?
Well, in Canada, it is. There are several loans company that which are I don't want to mention names, but the recent partnership we had with the leading firm in Canada provides you with the opportunity to pay 50% of your tuition to them, and then they kind of match it with 50%, and they provide you with living expenses. The caveat is that not all courses are covered. This company understands the importance of certain courses in Canada. Not all courses in Canada would amount to sources. So if you are coming to Canada, you also need to be strategic. You need to understand what are the jobs in demand. If you're coming to Canada, for instance, to study microbiology, you need to understand what aspects of microbiology you want to
You want
focus on. Because if you're not careful, someone that had to go to technical school to study plumbing or carpentry will earn more salary than you have. So it's not just about Canada. Is not just about the PhD. I just mentioned a grad student could hardly leave. A lot of them are leaving Canada. Postdocs are earning $3,000 in a month, with all the bills and
Grad, PhD, post grad students are
exactly.
getting
So this
less than
company,
$4,000 in a
exactly.
month.
So this
Whereas a carpenter, a plumber is getting three
getting
times what you are
$60
earning
for
in one
one
month.
hour.
Mm, mm.
So this company are saying that we want to support people basically in STEM, computing, mathematical science, data science, and you shouldn't have more than 5 years gap as well in your last education. They are providing you with the resources to come to Canada to make your life better, to fill the gaps in the job market. And if you need support, you can reach out to us at Scholarships Cafe to join our email list as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Lumiwa. I also will be asking you, is it difficult getting jobs in Canada? Why is there limitation in terms of who can get loans?
Yeah, basically, we all understand the whole I won't call it noise. We all understand the whole publicity about Canada.
Canada, Canada.
I mean, everybody wants to come to Canada, but recently someone tagged me on Facebook about a job fair in Calgary here that people had to line up for like hours. The jobs are not there really. It's like most of the jobs in Canada are into tech, and the tech community is already saturated. If you want to compare Canada to the US, there are more jobs in the US that even pay times three of it. So I'm not discouraging anyone that wants to come to Canada to come. You can come, you can find your place, but you also need to be realistic with yourself. You
Mm.
know, it's important. It's okay to have this big dream that when you come to Canada, you'll start picking money on the ground. Yeah, but it's also important to be realistic that you're on your own when you come here. Unlike your home country, you still have family you can run to, borrow this, borrow that.
Yeah,
The bills are like automatically removed. So, and that is why the Canadian government are saying, okay, over time we realize $10,000 we are giving as proof of fund is not enough. We are increasing it to 20,653 so that you can at least be rest assured that you can fund yourself for 1 year. So even if they give you 40 hours and you're not doing anything with it, because the jobs are not just there.
I remember we had this individual who came in to Canada, and after 2 months went back home
Right.
and said, "This is not the Canada dream I want."
Exactly. Because people hardly talk about the reality of things in Canada. I'm sure this might also get controversial with a lot of people who are saying, "Oh, should be you're in Canada, why not come back to Nigeria? If it's not okay, let me come and replace you like that."
They,
But when
they,
you
they,
but
they
when
didn't
you
call it dragging. They said
but when you come, you understand. It's like someone asking me, Dr. Miwa, I'm stranded. Can I get $500 from you? Where I go see him?
how how
Oh,
that's the question.
yeah.
How do you want me to get $500 for you?
So it's just okay to be well prepared. And if you're coming to Canada, if you have gotten your visa, congratulations. I mean, A3, they're doing an amazing job. If you need visa support, reach out to them.
Thank you, sir.
If you've gotten your visa, go and learn maybe barbing. I reached out to you not quite long that I needed to get some clothes from Nigeria. In the entire Calgary, I can't find a tailor that could sew my clothes. And I had to reach out to my friend in Ibadan because everybody coming here is coming to come and study masters and PhD.
A
But
PhD.
there are jobs barbing. Average barber in Calgary collect $50 or $60. Like plumbing, like welding, construction work. Those are like jobs that they are looking for people. Not like if you get a PhD, unfortunately, when you apply to the industry, you might have to discard your PhD and masters.
Wow. Wow.
Talking
Well,
from experience.
we have over 600 individuals who are connected at the moment, and I'm
Yeah, but
sure
that's
after
true.
now they're gonna come up and say, "Okay, so doctor, what are you saying? Should I leave this? Should I go and
Doctor is
learn
not saying,
barbing?"
see, if you come to Canada, if you come to Calgary, please link me up. If I'm available, I can even pick you at the airport. I can have coffee with you. But once I have coffee with you, you're on your own.
After coffee, and
Oh,
I
Lord.
remember the first time someone said, "Oh, let's go lunch." I'm like, "Oh, sounds good." And then we got there and said, "I hope you have your card."
Okay,
Said,
yeah.
"Card." So don't worry. You invited me out. I didn't tell you I wanted to, and I had to pay for myself.
No, that's it. That's the
Well,
reality.
I do. I visit the barber and the guy does $45 every 2 weeks. So now I'm
Wow.
trying to change my look. I want to change the look. Just go board. Just do everything. Do it myself. DIY.
Right.
Yeah, I think that talks about the trade. The trades fast becoming very key, especially in this part of the world. I've seen individuals who have been here 6 months, even as permanent residents, who have no jobs, and I've seen individuals who can use their hands,
Right.
who are doing very well. In those days, um, in Nigeria, there is usually this saying among the Yorubas that says that iṣẹ́ dé ọmọ aláṣẹ jẹ,
Mm.
owó ọmọ aláṣẹ là, àtẹ́lẹwọ́ ẹni kò kí n tán ni. It simply
Mm.
means that for individuals who are really looking at making a feat, they should learn something with their hands.
Right.
Unfortunately, I can only do what I'm doing. I don't know. I'm thinking of going back home to learn something.
we
I
can
got
start. We
someone
can
to
possibly start.
install.
We can possibly start a snow company.
I'm thinking so too. No, that one I don't want to do that. No, 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 doctor, no, 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 don't let's go to. Did you say snow company? When we have 20 centimeters out
Oh
there,
my goodness.
I remember that I called someone to fix my TV, and the guy said he was going to charge me $180.
Oh wow.
So in my mind, I'm like, $180 to do what? That's me working from morning to night.
How much is even the TV itself?
When the TV is out. Yeah. So now, for this, you said this company allows individuals to have 50% of their tuition paid to them, and then they match it with the remaining 50%,
Right. And the
and
living
then
expenses. Oh yeah.
they also give them the living expenses.
Yes.
How much time do they have for paybacks?
So they pay back immediately. They get a Canada, and the way it works is this. So they do it like the German block account. Like once you come to Canada, they give you 1,700 out of your living expenses, and then they take the loan depending on the package you sign. If you go to their website, you would see you can have the loan calculator to see how much your program you will cost, and then the loan you need, and the collateral, which is the deposit that you need. So basically, when you come to Canada, you start paying, and it's just like they telling you that okay, we're giving you 1,700 for 12 months. We expect you to also work as well. So they take their loan out of the 1,700. So if you're supposed to pay, let's say $300 every month, then you're left with $1,500. And so it is very possible for you to work alongside and even be paying the loan back to them.
Oh, awesome, awesome. So in specifics, do they have so that means they work with some set of schools, or do they work with all schools?
So they work with some set of schools: George Brown College, University of Alberta, Waterloo, University of Calgary. Yeah, for their master's program, some of the school listed, you need to get a letter of admission from those schools first, and then you bring
Before
it
you
back to
bring
them.
it back to them for sponsorship.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome. So it's I think this if you're not ready to go through the drive of having to write code emails,
Right.
having to write professors, it appears it's not forthcoming, and you still want to come to Canada, you do not have all of the funds. Yes.
Right.
I think this is more like individuals who are inside here, who are domestic students, who take loans and grants from the government,
Yes.
and then they pay back over time.
All right. Right.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Lumuyiwa. Just before I let you go, I'm going to be asking other questions that are related to payment platforms.
Okay.
Does this, we have individuals who want to pay tuition. Over time, we've had to, we do try to do that as a support system.
Hmm.
I remember that I had to be invited by my bank.
Oh wow.
I had to be invited by my bank because I was helping individual students to, you know, individuals to pay tuition, and then they had to invite me and say, you're using your personal account the wrong way,
Oh wow.
and so we're going to give you this warning, just this warning. If we're able to track that you are still doing this through your personal
Hmm.
account, then we might need to flag you up and report.
Report to the government.
So does this platform, do they assist with payment of tuition?
Yeah, so the platform assists with the payment of tuition because they need to get a 50% collateral from you. So I think they work with Flywire. So get
Okay.
the tuition to them, and once they get the tuition to them, they give you a certificate to apply for your visa. And one good thing is because it's a Canadian company, it's one of the front line in terms of student admission. The IRCC know about them, and so it's a valid company, and
Awesome.
they're trying to provide every support from visa to housing as well. Just come to Scholarships Cafe, send us an email, and we will pick it up from there. And if you're interested in a masterclass as well, it's currently discounted till tomorrow. You can get you can get a discount. Rush it. Just send us a DM on Twitter, Instagram, Scholarships Cafe, or just tag me on Twitter as well. We'll be much more happy to support you. Yeah.
Awesome. So, would you be able to extend for individuals? Now we have close to 1,600 individuals.
Oh
We're about
well.
rounding off. We're about rounding off, and yeah, we are a
Well,
thousand nine hundred
if possibly
seventy-seven.
they send us an email and they say they are from A3 immigration,
And then
we
you can
can
be able
still
to.
give them the discount. Yeah.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So tell me, let me ask you a couple of personal questions. What's your best food? Don't tell me it's pounded yam.
I stopped eating pounded yam actually, once in a while. But my best food hasn't also been pounded yam. My best food is jollof rice.
Is what?
Jollof rice. I
Okay.
can take that morning, evening rice. I can take it. When I was in Korea, I was eating only rice. So because for them, it was the most available food in
Staple food.
Korea is rice. To have rice wine, rice cake, rice bread. You know, so I get free
Rice
rice.
everything.
I even get free rice from my landlord. So
I think I plan visiting Korea this year.
no, you should. Like,
I have a lot of places I plan visiting.
I could
Before
give you a
somebody's
lot of
gonna hold me
tips.
up to say, you said you were gonna visit. I plan visiting a lot of places this
Oh,
year.
wow. Okay.
Korea. I've not been to Korea. I've been to a couple of other places.
You're gonna
But
enjoy it. It's one of the top three countries in terms of tech and all.
do they eat live what we see on TV? Do they eat
Like
them live?
um, like some people do eat live octopus.
Ooh,
But I can't. Yeah.
okay, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Lumuyiwa, for joining us
Thank you so much for
on
having me.
this call. For individuals who are just joining us, I'm going to have to encourage you to please, you can watch over again to learn a couple of things. And you can also email them info@scholarshipcafe.com.
Yeah. Com. Info
And
at scholarships cafe. So the scholarships is plural. .com, and you could find us on any of our social media platform: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. DM us. We will be right there to assist you.
wow, I don't know where these individuals are coming from. 2,000.
Oh wow, interesting.
It's been a pleasure getting to connect with you, Dr. Lumiwa. I think we should do this again.
All right,
I
no problem. All
think we
right,
should do this again some other time.
no problem.
For everyone who has connected with us this afternoon, thank you so much. I know it's about almost evening if you're connecting from Nigeria. If you're connecting from any other part of the world, Scholarships Cafe is committed to offering great services. There are people we can close our eyes to recommend when it comes to assistance, come to scholarships platform, helping with platforms, loans. You are not getting scholarships, and you just want to do it yourself. You've been trying to get what you need to be able to get it on. Scholarships Cafe is more than uh, happy to assist you with this. At A3 Migrations, we are thanking everyone who has succeeded in joining us this afternoon. Thank you so much, guys, for the support. We constantly see your referrals. We constantly see the amazing work that you guys are doing. And we hope to continue what we do. And please, just like you have heard in the course of this discussion, they only take you by the hands in order to ensuring that you get what it is that you desire. We're going to be back again next week. We have decided to stay committed to this once in a week, every week, just to share information, share what it is that would be of help regarding Canada, regarding immigration, regarding information, scholarships, like we have done this afternoon, supports and other information that would benefit everyone who is joining us. We are going to come again your way. Now it appears I should not go. Uh, now I'm just getting another notification for everyone who has joined us on Instagram. We are not leaving you out. You cannot get to see Dr. Lumuiwa, but if you would endeavor to connect with us or watch this video, we're gonna just put it up, and then you can be able to go back to watch it. To the individuals who are joining us on Instagram, please thank you for connecting with us every time that we are here. We would also encourage you to go over to the YouTube, watch it. It promises to be informative, and as well as you can get one or two things from there. For individuals, please ensure you follow us, subscribe, like, and Dr. Lumiwatu, you can get him. He's always available on Instagram. He's available on Twitter. He's available on YouTube. You can watch Scholarship Cafe. Scholarships, that's S
Yeah.
with scholarship, and then cafe, and then you can get to see a lot of his videos. He does this helping always humanity, contributing his own quota as well to seeing that the academia world is something that we can be all proud of. Thank you. Until we come again your way, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. I'm taking a picture, Dr. Lumiwa. I'm going to share this picture with you. Thank you. All right. Take care
Okay.
and bye-bye.
All right.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye.